Hello and welcome to the Free Kick Podcast. My name is Todd, and guys, I'm doing fantastic today. Super excited. You know, it's Friday. It's the start of a 3-day weekend for most people, or if not most people, everybody, I feel like. So I can't wait to do some fishing and whatnot this weekend. Had some good luck last week, so definitely going to hit it out this week. But not only that, we are in the semifinals of our podcast tournament. If you guys have not been paying attention, you would know that Rich and Ed drew against each other, and Ricky and Michael were the other two games. Well, joining us today, the first game, that is Ed and Rich. So how are you guys doing today?
I'm doing real good there, Todd. I got to say, I really love your intro. Of all the union podcasts, I think when it comes to intro, you're definitely number one.
Hey, then I will take that. There's like, 7, 8, maybe 9 union podcasts, so I'll take it. So I'm actually, my friend Brad, who used to produce the show for me when I was doing the Premier League and whatnot, he actually talked about me, about like making a new intro and everything. So I don't know if we'll come up with something new or whatnot, but obviously I can't use that game show music forever and everything because it's game show music. So we'll see what happens, but I thank you for that compliment, Rich. But how are you doing, Ed?
I'm good. I'm being Philly superstitious. I got the same jersey as last time. I got the same beer as last time.
So what worked for you last time? You're hoping that it works again for you. So
yeah, I don't think the underwear is the same. I don't do it, but I stuck with the jersey. I have other union stuff, but I'm sticking with the jersey.
Yeah, I love it.
I'm superstitious.
It's obviously you guys cannot see all of us because you guys are listening to this.
Yeah, visual thing. Right?
Yeah, it's Ed's wearing the 2020 jersey, and he wore the same thing last week, and we'll see if it pays off for him, or can Rich continue a streak where he does not believe in himself, and I guess he can say, yeah, he upsets everybody. So we'll see. But before we get into the game show and everything, I just want to get into the first topic and the only topic that we'll get into. Ali Bedoya talking with Taylor Twellman of ESPN, his show on ESPN, which is called Banter. But before I get into that, so the latest bit of news for the mini tournament and everything, so we'll start with that, is this is from ESPN's Jeff Carlisle. He says, the details surrounding the proposed MLS mini tournament in Orlando are coming into focus, with the league breaking the 26 teams into 4 groups and the top 2 teams in each group advancing to a knockout round. Sources have confirmed to ESPN. Both the league and the MLS Players Association would also need to agree on the tournament details in order for it to be played. Also, Jeff said there would be 3 groups of 6 and a last group of 8, giving teams a minimum of 5 games each. The top 2 teams from each group would advance to the knockout round. The group stage games would count towards the league standings, but the knockout games would not. In terms of the league's plans for after the tournament, one possibility is to schedule an 18 regular season with only interconference matchups, with 9 teams from each conference qualifying for the playoffs, similar to the mini tournament. And Nashville would be in the Eastern Conference due to the 2 conferences being unbalanced. So right there, I know I gave you guys a lot of information. Just what are your thoughts on now the latest bit of news for this tournament down in Orlando?
I think they're trying to rush to get something together, and I respect that they're trying to get something together. But I don't know. It seems like nobody knows how long this is going to go, or when the restrictions are going to be lifted, and when people can even go to a stadium again. But these quarantine tournaments and games, and they've talked about it throughout sports at this point. It's a big use of resources. It's a big use of tests. It's a separation of the players from anything but soccer and the players. Some of these guys have families, so it doesn't really go well for them. I don't know if there's going to be pay cuts. I don't know how that's going to go. So maybe you want to do it just to keep getting paid, but I don't know if the players are into it. But if they can get it all together and they have all the tests and all that, go for it. I mean, people are going to watch it. You saw with Bundesliga, everybody watched it. Everybody that had a sports betting app on their phone watched Bundesliga last weekend because everybody wanted a piece of that action. And plus, it's still good. It's good German soccer. It always has been. So should we let them get all the ratings, or should MLS throw their hat in the ring? That's where you kind of get, are we going to do this whole quarantine soccer thing, or are we going to wait it out and do it the way we want to do it? But I don't know. What do you guys think?
I think the product itself, like you said, I mean, we're all fans of the sport. And that's my takeaway from last weekend watching the Germans was I would love to watch the Union in that kind of a situation. It'd be really interesting for me as a Union fan, first of all, but it is still the same sport. And it's really great to be able to hear all the players yelling, and you hear the thud of every kick. And I love it. As a fan, I want them to do it. However, that is a really big ask for those players. Yeah, they get paid, but I just think about it myself. They said, okay, you can do your job, but you got to go do it in Orlando, and you can't do anything but your job and forget about your family for a couple months and take it or leave it. Luckily I also have a union that would have something to say about that, and it's the kind of thing that has to be negotiated, for the good of the game. The players are going to have to, give probably more than they would like, but it's, like I said, it's a big ask for the players.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, the talk was early that the players would take a 50% pay cut. And now I think it's down to 20% pay cut and everything. So, I mean, either way, the players, it looks like, are going to have to take a pay cut. But real quick, though, we're just going to play our captain, Ali Bedoya's audio clip. Like I said earlier, he was on with Taylor Twellman of ESPN on his show called Banter. And Ali gives his thoughts on the mini tournament down in Orlando and what he would do instead of the tournament. So anyway, here we go. Let's listen to that clip.
Am I going to be real candid here or what? Like, I think
absolutely.
From my perspective, look, I'll start off with saying every one of us, I think, would agree that we want to get back to playing. Like, I want to get back out there being competitive, games. The staff also wants to be out there, fans want to be watching games. But I will say that, this all feels a little bit rushed. I think we all need to be partners in this, not just that, ESPN and Disney, which owns ESPN, is just partnering with MLS to get, to help the owners out and show games and get this done. I think the players we're taking all the risk again, by going down there, being isolated. I think it's a strong term to say it's like being in a luxurious prison, but essentially we're going to be sequestered in a hotel in Disney, not being able to do much. This isn't normal preseason where we can have the freedom to go out to dinner with the guys, where we can go to a movie theater, watch a movie, where we can even go for a quick run to CVS to get the essentials. This is just straight lockdown for 8 weeks minimum is what they're asking, 10 weeks if you're in the final. I mean, I don't know about you, but a lot of guys have families. A lot of guys have, even if you're single, a young player, 8 weeks alone, not being able to do much, you're out, you're being able to, it's like I said, a luxurious prison. You can go out for the yard for a recess to, to training and for a game here and there. And the rest of the time you're just isolating.
So Ali, I completely understand where you're coming from. So my question is, so what would you guys do then as players? Would you do 4 bubble cities? Would you wait it out to see if you could play games in your own stadium? What is your alternative?
I think the alternatives. I think that's where everybody needs to be partners in this, right? Let's make some reasonable plan Bs, plan Cs, plan Ds. I think the regional play is where I think I see the most benefit. I think when you look at the different regions in the Northeast where I'm at, we have the 2 New York teams, we have Philly, we have DC, we have New England and Boston. We can even include Toronto. We don't even have to pay for charter flights to get anywhere. Let's take a neutral site, regional play. All these teams take a big bus ride, 2-3 weeks. You can play 3 games every 3 days, game every 3 days, and 2-3 weeks, and you get the same number of games that they're trying to get in Orlando, and you can set that up in Northwest, Vancouver, Portland, Seattle, San Jose, even the 2 LA teams, the South, maybe Midwest, Central, and you get this done, and I think this is where I feel like this Orlando tournament idea is a little bit rushed. I think let's wait it out. I saw yesterday something about New York and California opening up the possibility of playing in their venues, sporting events. So, a couple more days, as things go by, as testing is more widely available, as we're learning more, and as the curve continues to go down, all this stuff, I think there's some still time there for us to continue to stay relevant, get games done, and in a safe way that's reasonable for all players partaking in this.
Yep.
All right, so there you go. You guys just heard Ali Bedoya's comments on this mini tournament, and I'll go first, and then you guys can echo. And hopefully I got you guys off your game now and everything. You know, this is the longest I've done a talking session with a topic and everything. So hopefully you guys, now you guys were tense, and maybe you guys are even more tense now. But we'll see. So I mean, my first takeaway is that Ali clearly stated that everyone wants to get back to playing. Like not only the players, but the coaching staff, they want to get back to being competitive. We want to get back to it. I mean, that's something that we all alluded to, and it's like, okay, yeah, we'll take that. Yeah, it's soccer and everything, but I mean, he does have a point. He called this tournament a luxurious prison where you can't go out to eat, or you can't go to the movies with your teammates. You can't go to CVS and get the essentials. I mean, he's spot on. I mean, you'll be away from your families, like you said, Rich, and that's hard for 8 weeks, 10 weeks if you're in the final. It is a straight lockdown, and it's tough to be away from your family. It's tough if you're a young player, like you said, too, just, like Brendan Aronson, not going to be around his family, and then you're going to be in a separate hotel room. Now, I'm going to imagine, when you travel and everything, you have a teammate in your in your hotel room and everything, so it's going to be completely just different, in a room feeling sad and everything. I'm sure all you can do is watch TV and, like you said, go out and train and then go and play a game, and then he also said, his best thing is regional play. I do think that's a good idea, and I like his dig that he had there on the charter flights. You don't have to take them anymore because we know Jay Sugarman doesn't want to pay for them, and I do think that he is right. I mean, it is logical, just stay on that 95 corridor, and then Toronto's right up there. It's not that far away. So just hearing Ali's comments, what do you guys think? Do you guys agree with him?
Yeah, I mean, he hit all the points of why it seems a little rash. It really is an unprecedented thing to quarantine the whole league of players. I mean, it's pretty radical. And the regional play is good. It's just that when you have regional play like that, you're opening up all kinds of opportunities for players to come in contact with people that they would prefer they didn't and get sick, and the whole thing goes out the window anyway. It only takes one little outbreak on a team to sink the whole thing. So it's a complex issue. It's not an easy thing. I probably the quarantine tournament is probably the most the thing that actually can get pulled off, without problems. But they'll figure. I'm sure they'll figure something out. I'm sure they're gonna, like Ali said, reasonable people get in a room, they can figure something out, and they will. There's a lot of money at stake, and it's not only that. It's about the future of the game, and there's all kinds of stuff, and the players have to realize that.
Yeah, absolutely. Ed.
Yeah, I think it seems a little rushed, and I think Ali made a good point of that. Like, we're still playing this waiting game with our local stadiums, and like he said about maybe playing regionally instead of down there. But I mean, we don't know that's at least something tangible that they can put into place, where otherwise we're just waiting. And maybe that's the right thing to do, but there's a business side, and they're trying to see what they can do. And I know like he said, the players want to play. Everybody wants to play, but they just want to do everything the right way and not rush to something. And I think when you hear Bedoya talk about these issues, things about family, isolation, can't go anywhere with your spare time, you just have to kind of stew in the compound. He's speaking for, the whole league, essentially. He's a team captain. There's only so many of them, and he's a players union rep thing for the team. So he's always going to have that. He's always going to be on that side of things, and so that's an opinion you have to really value. So I don't think they should rush anything. I think they should really take the pulse of what the players want to do, and if they all feel like Bedoya that it's a luxurious prison, MLS. They do a lot of things right, but I don't think they want to be called that, and I don't think they want to be known for that. So maybe that will give them some pause, but at the same time, it's a business, and they're going to see what they can do.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know Jeff Carlisle interviewed a couple other players from other teams and everything. They kind of echoed the same thing that Ali Bedoya did. And anytime that I play these clips or I bring up a talking point, I'll always leave that clip. There's articles at the end of the show notes, at the end of the episode. So if you guys want to check them out on your spare time, you can. But I mean, you're right, Ed. We all want soccer. You said the same thing, Rich, and everything. But it does feel like there is no sports going on in America. It's the Bundesliga. If MLS came first out of all the major sports, people would definitely watch it because people were bored at home, not watching sports and everything. And, it might not be MLS what we're used to and everything, but, maybe people are like, oh, I like this tournament. I like these guys actually are decent. They're not what everybody over in Europe hypes them up to be. It's like an actual decent league and everything. It's a good league. And I can speak volumes on that. I talk about it all the time when I have new people on, like how the league has changed so much when I first watched it to what it is now and everything. And so yeah, it does come down to business, and fortunately, like anything today, there's always politics involved and everything. So we'll see what happens and everything. But like I said earlier, hopefully I don't have you guys too off your game and everything. But let's get into the game. So like we always start with, we'll start with 5 and 25, which is the first category. I'll ask each contestant 5 questions, and they have 25 seconds to answer the questions. The clock starts after I read the first question. If a contestant doesn't know the answer, they can say skip, and we can go back to the question if time permits. Each question will be worth 2 points, and today we are going to start off with you, Ed. So any questions?
No, I'm ready. Yeah.
All right, here we go. Question number 1 for you, Ed. That is, how many league goals did Jack McOnie have in 2013 for the Union?
10.
How many yellow cards did the Union have in the league in 2015?
25.
Who is second all-time in assists for the Union?
Second all-time. Medunian.
How many home games did the Union win in the 2018 regular season?
15.
And what year did the Union finish with 2 away wins?
2012.
All right. So that last one was, what year did the Union finish with 2 away wins? That answer was 2010. The question I asked before that, how many home games did the Union win in the 2018 regular season? The answer to that one was 9. Who was second all-time in the assists for He was second all-time for the Union in assists. That was indeed Harris Medunian. He has 29 assists for the Union in his career. How many yellow cards did the Union have in the league in 2015? Yeah, this is a very, very tricky question. So you got to think on your feet. That was 54. They have 54 yellow cards that year.
Wow.
Maurice Adu had 8. Nagara, he had 6, and Steven and Victoria, he had 5. So those 3 led the Union in yellow cards that year. And the first question I asked you, how many league goals did Jack McOnie have in 2013 for the Union? He had 12. So you went 1 for 5 there, and you got 2 points, but you got on the board. That's all that matters, Ed.
All right.
And here we go, Rich. We're going to go to you. So any questions?
Nope.
All right, here we go. The timer starts after I read the first question. And your first question is, who was second in goals scored for the Union in the league in 2013?
Shit. Latu.
How many yellow cards did the Union have in the league in 2017?
49.
How many assists did Harris have last year in the league?
15.
How many home games did the Union win in the 2013 regular season?
8.
And unfortunately, I didn't have time to read that last question for you. But so that last question I asked, how many home games did the Union win in the 2013 regular season? That was 7. So you won off. You're close there, Rich. How many assists did Harris have last year in the league? You said 15. He had 10. I thought it was a lot more than that, but apparently he only had 10. So according to the Union's website. How many yellow cards did the Union have in the league in 2017? You were close on this one as well, Rich. It was 50. So again, close, but that doesn't cut it. The 3 leading players that year were Onweyu with 6, Bedoya with 6, and Gaddis had 5 that year. And then he was second in goals scored for the Union in the league in 2013.
Blanked.
Yeah, that did cost you not to get the last question read. And that answer for that one was Connor Casey. He had 10 goals that year for the Union.
Totally blanked on that one.
Yep. So
should have just said skip.
Yeah, I know. You wasted a good amount of time just trying to think of that player and everything.
Those are one of the dark years. I'm trying to forget those ones.
I know. We all are. So unfortunately, you were not able to pick up any points in that section, Rich, but it's okay.
Yep.
We're just going to stick with you for true, false. And
okay.
This is self-explanatory for all you people that are new to this. It's just true, false questions. You guys aren't timed, and each question's worth 1 point each. So are you ready, Rich?
Yep, ready.
Here we go. Question number 1. True or false, the regular season only, Saba has taken more corner kicks in his Union career than Harris did for the Union.
Whew, that's interesting. 7 more than Harris. Harris takes almost everyone when he was here. 7 didn't take everyone. I'm going to say false. I bet Harris took more.
It was true, actually.
Oh, wow.
Sebastian Letou took more. Again, you're right. Harris took everything here. Sebastian Letou had 379 corner kicks taken in his career, while Harris had 302. So, I mean,
Wow.
when I saw that, I was like, wow, I can't believe this. But I guess Sebastian Letou played more for the Union than Harris did. So, I guess
that's true. Yeah.
Here we go. Question number 2 for you, though, Rich. True or false? Regular season only again. Sebastian Letou has played more minutes than Brian Carroll.
Oh, that's interesting. I think that's going to be false.
It is indeed false. So Sebastian Letou played 13,437 minutes for the Union, while Brian Carroll played 13,863 minutes.
Wow,
so
it's close.
Yeah, they were definitely close, but Brian Carroll just got by Sebastian Letou. Here we go. Question number 3, though. True or false? The Union finished the 2017 regular season with 10 home wins.
2017, 10 home wins. True.
It is true. Yeah, they were great at home that year. They were definitely that was one of their better home seasons that year. Here we go. Question number 4, though. True or false? Jay Simpson and Carlos Vela were once teammates at Arsenal.
I'll say true. It sounds like one of them weird things that could be true.
It is indeed true. So I knew they both played for Arsenal, but I did not know that they played together at the time, because both of the players had got shipped off on loan multiple times by Arsenal. And the only year that they played together was the 2008-2009 season for Arsenal. And I believe they linked up together to score a goal. I think Jay Simpson scored a goal from a Carlos Vela assist in the Carling Cup that year. So it is indeed true. And the final question...
That's some deep knowledge right there, Todd. That's some deep info.
Yeah, it is. It is. You know, I was like, I'm not giving you guys any cupcake answers, easy answers, since we're in the semifinals, and definitely ready for questions.
It was such an odd pairing that I figured that would be a weird thing for Todd to make up, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And here we go. Question number 5 for you, Rich. True or false? Fred has played for MASL, which is indoor soccer side, Harrisburg Heat.
Fred, shit. Harrisburg Heat. I'll be honest, I never even heard of the Harrisburg Heat. Fred has played. He's kind of been with I want to say, you know what? I'm going to say true. That's weird. Where would you pull that out of your butt from?
It is so true, indeed. He signed for them in 2017, and I'm not a huge indoor soccer guy and everything, but I believe at the time they were going through injuries and everything, and I have no clue how I even found this question and everything. I guess I just typed in Fred's name and everything, and then it popped up on the Union's website that he said, former Union player Fred is signed for indoor soccer side Harrisburg Heat. I was like, that's interesting. Never knew it. But not bad at all, Rich. You definitely got on the scoreboard, because you went 4 for 5. So that puts you in the lead by 2 points. And Ed, we go to you now.
All right.
Here we go. The first question for you, Ed. True or false, the regular season only, Fafa Pico has gone offsides more than Connor Casey.
I'll say true.
It is false. I was so surprised by this when I found this out. Fafa has gone offsides 33 times in his Union career in the regular season, while Connor Casey has gone offsides 47 times. So
that's surprising.
I know, Fafa being a fast winger and everything. I mean, so many times he's been caught offsides, and you see that assistant raise the flag and everything. But according to the Union's website,
I think there's recency bias there. I feel like I remembered Pico going offside one.
Yeah, but here we go, though. Your second question, though, Ed. True or false? Again, the regular season only. Jack Elliott has played the most minutes out of all the center backs that have played for the Union.
I guess I'll say true.
It is indeed true. I thought, the person next closest to Jack Elliott was Carlos Valdez with 6,509 minutes. And Jack Elliott has played 7,113 minutes. So I was thinking maybe Danny Califf would be up there, because I know that was one of the questions earlier on where we talked about Danny Califf starting every single Union game, never coming off the bench. But I think Danny Califf was like 3rd or 4th for the Union center back. So Jack Elliott has indeed played the most minutes out of all center backs. Question number 3 for you, Ed. True or false? The Union finished the 2011 regular season with 1 home loss.
I'll say true.
It is true. Do you remember the team? I know it's a long time ago. Yeah,
Well, that's
Colorado.
in Colorado.
Yeah, you're right indeed. It was Colorado.
It was the
Torres.
first. It was the opener, right? It was the home opener that year.
Yeah, it was. Yep. And then they
I
went
don't
on
remember
fire the
that
rest
game.
of the season at home. Torres scored in the 93rd minute. It didn't really matter because Colorado were just dominating the whole game. So, but like you said, Rich, some of the darker years and everything back then. But they were good at home. Another one of their season. I feel like the Union are always pretty good at home, but on the road
They were
they
tough
always.
to beat that year. They had a lot of draws, but
2011 was
Mondragon kept them in every game pretty much.
Yeah, their defense was stout. They only gave up they gave up like 1 goal a game or something. Average, a little bit more than that.
And then
Yeah, it's probably
unfortunately,
the best defense they ever had.
yeah, absolutely. And then unfortunately, Houston happened, and one of the darker times that we're not going to talk about. But here we go. The fourth question for you, Ed. True or false? In 2015, the Union had 7 players on the roster that had represented their full national team. Either they were currently playing for the national teams, or they represented them in the past.
2015, and it's 7 players.
Yep, that had represented their full national team at the time.
I'll say true.
It is true. It was Connor Casey, Brian Carroll, Maurice Adu, Michael Loud, CJ Sapong, Fernando Aristeguieta, and Tranquilo Barnetta. So, was 7 players. And here we go. The final question.
Yeah,
for you,
Michael Hood stood up for French Guiana in South America, I believe.
That's right. Yeah, you're right. Something like that. Yeah.
Wow, what a great memory, Ed. See, you're teaching.
This is why I said he's a big favorite in this one. I'm really punching above my weight here.
Well, you don't see too many French Guiana internationals in soccer, so you remember the one that you do see.
Yeah, the one oddball out of probably the whole league, not just the Union, but definitely the whole league.
Michael Hood's pretty active on Twitter. Occasionally, he'll just be a conversation that has nothing to do with him, and he'll just chime in once in a while. It's interesting.
I will definitely keep my eyes out for his comments and everything. So, look, now you're teaching me something, Rich, so you're never too old to learn something. But here we go. Your last question, Ed. True or false, the Union used 4 goalkeepers last year in the regular season?
True.
It is actually false. So I did think it was 4 as well, but the 3 goalkeepers they used were Andre Blake, Carlos Miguel, and then Matt Freese. So the one that I was tripping up on was they signed pool goalkeeper Charlie Lyon because I think Andre Blake and Matt Freese were.
Yeah, I don't think he played. Yeah.
So they signed him like the day before the game and everything, and he was the backup goalkeeper. So to Carlos. So not bad at all there for you, Rich. Ed, sorry, because you went 3 for 5 in that section, which gives you 6 points, while Rich, you have 4 points. So again, it always comes down to this final category where both of you guys are still into this game, and that final category is name the Union player. So contestants will go head-to-head in guessing the Union player I'm describing. I'll give 5 clues, and contestants can buzz in whenever they think they know the player. Contestants will buzz in by saying their own name. If a contestant answers wrong, that will freeze them out until the next player is described. Each question will be worth 3 points each. Are you guys ready?
Yep, I'm ready.
Here we go. Player number 1 is a forward. Hint number 2, jersey number 9. Hint number 3, in the top 5 all-time in Union goals scored.
Ed.
Go ahead, Ed. Yep.
Sebastian Letou.
It is not Sebastian Letou. So sit back, Rich, and get the rest of these hints. Was a part of the trade that brought Andrew Wagner from Montreal Impact. And hint number 5, first name Jack.
Yeah, McInerney.
It is indeed Jack McInerney. Here we go, guys. Player number 2, again, is a forward. Hint number 2, his first goals for the club came against New England. Hint number 3, signed from Chilean club Italiano. Hint number 4 is a Brazilian. And hint number 5, first name Sergio.
Ed.
Go ahead, Ed.
Sergio Santos.
It is just you just got by Rich. It was indeed Sergio Santos. It's a close one, like it's been the last couple of episodes. But here we go. Player number 3 is a midfielder. Jersey number 14. Hint number 3, first goal came against Columbus Crew. Hint number 4, traded to Chicago.
Ed.
Go ahead, Ed.
Amobi Okugo.
It is not a Kugo. And the last hint for you right here, Rich, is first name Fabian.
Herbers.
It is indeed Fabian Herbers. Here we go. You're still in this, Ed. So,
I don't think of him as a midfielder for some reason.
yeah, he was listed.
Yeah, I think it was a winger, but
he was
I don't know why
listed.
I always think of him forwards.
Yeah, on the Union's website, they listed him as a midfielder. So, yeah, I thought the same thing, too, because in Chicago's system, he plays more on the wing and everything. But according to the Union's website, they have him listed as a midfielder. So, I'm like, I'm not going to debate the club. So, here we go, though. Player number 4 is a midfielder. Hint number 2, scored a free kick against Chicago Fire. Hint number 3 is a Brazilian. Hint number 4, jersey number 22.
Ed.
Go ahead, Ed.
Free kick. Cleberson. I blanked on it.
Well, did you say Cleberson? Sorry.
Cleberson.
Yeah, and that is not the answer. And here we go. The last hint for you, Rich, is first name Leo.
Fernandez.
It is indeed Leo Fernandez.
Ed, that was my guess too, Cleberson. You just beat me to it by like a half a second.
That number threw me completely because I don't remember Leo Fernandez scoring, but I guess he did.
Yeah, he did against Chicago Fire. Thank you, Philadelphia Union, for that knowledge. And Cleberson, I think his free kick came against Orlando, I want to say. It was against Orlando, but I have to go back and double check. I want to say it's Orlando, but it could be off. But nonetheless, player number 5, the first name for that is a defender. Hint number 2, the 2012 MLS Rookie of the Year. Hint number 3, a hamstring injury kept him out for the majority of his time for the Union.
Ed.
Go ahead, Ed.
Is that Austin Trusty? Or no. I blanked again. Austin Trusty. Whatever. That's the answer.
So, yeah, unfortunately, you said Austin Trusty. So, and the other hints for you, Rich, were traded from Chicago, and his first name is Austin.
That's it.
Barry.
It is indeed Austin Barry. So
Austin Barry. I knew it was Austin something.
As soon as you said Austin, I was like,
I couldn't think like a Rookie of the Year that we had as a defender. I'm like, what? Who the hell's that? Like, I was totally blanked.
Yeah,
that's why he was Rookie of the year that before when he wasn't.
Yeah, before he came here. Yeah.
And then he fizzled out.
Yeah, injuries killed his time with the Union. So much expectations, and you got the Austin part right, but then the last name, Ed, unfortunately threw you off.
I blanked. I was waiting for that blank. This was the worst I've blanked in any of these, and I knew under the pressure it would happen eventually.
Hey, maybe just the first segment threw you completely off your game and everything, but so the final score comes out to be Ed with 8 points, and Rich came away with 16 points. So congratulations, Rich. You're moving on to the final.
That's lucky.
And,
lucky.
And Ed, you are still coming back because there will be a third place game. So we'll find out in the next game who you'll be playing in the third place game. So your time on the show is not done yet, but it's unfortunately not in the final like you want it to be. So,
Ed, you're a hell of a competitor, and I think I had a little bit of patience at the end there, and some of your wrong guesses were my first guess in my head, honestly.
Yeah, I was just trying to get a jump on it, but I'm going to burn my jersey now because it's not good luck anymore.
Don't do that. Well, if you do burn that jersey, just when MLS comes out, just be aware for a potential jersey giveaway. That's all I'm going to say. So maybe you get lucky. But I had a blast having you both on and everything. And like I tell to all the contestants and everything, why don't you guys go ahead and tell me where people can find you on social media? And I'll start with you, Ed.
I'm at Buzzkill_Ed on Twitter. It used to be about sports a lot, but now it's just reading people complaining about politics and the pandemic. But I'm on I'm on a PlayStation and FIFA, same thing, Buzzkill_Ed, if you want to add that at some point. And that's all I really got right now.
Yeah, absolutely. What about you, Rich?
At Rich_Laurie on Twitter, and that's pretty much the only place I am on social media. Me and Ed go back a long way from Big Soccer. I remember him from way back in the day. He's
yeah, Big Soccer. I was, on that even before Twitter got going, early Sons of Ben and all that kind of stuff. And then it kind of crosses back and forth. I think you showed like a screenshot of something not too long ago, and I was like, oh, you're that guy from Big Soccer. I totally remember now.
Yeah. That was good. That was good times. It was a nice place to vent back then, you know.
Oh yeah, and it was needed at the time. There was a lot of not drama, but like just people just lived and breathed every game. I think early on, especially the first 2 or 3 years, everybody. I mean, there was just
awesome.
like the game thread on Big Soccer after a game was like 15 pages after every game.
You know what was the funniest thing? As soon as I don't remember if it was Jim Curtin when he got hired or when Peter got fired. Like the next minute, there was a fire John Hackworth thread or something, or a fire Jim Curtin thread. Like as soon as they became the coach.
Yeah. There was always a fire.
Been active ever since.
Yeah.
It was funny.
The current coach always got a fire thread no matter what.
Immediately before they even had one game. And could you imagine if there was like a 80-page thread about like to fire you? How could you not read it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder what got read back then. I mean, like Sakevich was going crazy and reading stuff.
That's the funny thing about Curtin on Twitter. One time I ran into him, he right away he's like he acted like I felt like he knew me. Like it was kind of a weird feeling because I had met him once in like a handshake line, and but it was like a familiarity. Then later he came up to me and instead of saying like he called me by my Twitter handle, which was really weird. And right away, just the thought of all the things I had said over the years have come flooding back to me immediately. I'm like, Jim, I am really sorry. He's like, dude, I get it. He's like, I used to rip Andy Reid constantly. I'm like, do you feel differently about it now? He goes, yeah, I feel totally differently about it now. He's like, but I totally get it. So that's the thing about Jim Curtin. The more you get to know Jim Curtin, the more you see of him, the more you like him. You know, he's a pretty good dude.
He's a Philly guy.
Especially when he started coming around. I saw him at Sons of Ben movie event. He's there. Go to watch the World Cup at Brauhaus. He's hanging out there. He does Help Kick Hunger that year at Brauhaus. He's there. So when he first started like head coaching, I got pretty familiar with him just because he was coming around and you'd see the same 20 to 50 people at those things back then at least. And yeah, he was always just the nicest guy. He'd buy you a beer if he saw that you didn't have one or something. Yeah, he was just the nicest guy in real life. And
yeah,
it's good that the fire Jim Curtin thread never really took off too much, and Big Soccer kind of fizzled out on its own.
I think what happened was, as a team, it became clear that like he wasn't the problem. There was like a fundamental problem. And like even it was like he's a good dude.
He had problems, and you couldn't set the lineup without Ernie Stewart's approval. So.
Yeah, and back then I never met the guy back then, but the only thing I saw of him was like kind of like canned interviews and stuff like that, and he was very much like following the company line in those interviews back then. And boy, that used to infuriate me. I'd hear the same exact thing from Ernie, and then I'd hear the same exact thing from him, and I'm like, this is insanity. So anyway, all right, sorry about that, Todd. We kind of went off on a tangent there.
No, definitely. I enjoy it and everything. I'm sure the listeners do too. It brings back a lot of great memories and everything. And I was just going to say my note on Jim Curtin is like he's a Philly guy. Like he's one of us. I mean, even though I'm not from Philly, but like he breathes Philly sports and everything. Like he gets it in like Philly sports are diehard fans and everything. Like, he's seen the worst of times, the best of times and everything. So just all the angry comments and everything, I'm sure he can take it. He has thick skin because like you said, Rich, he probably he directed a lot of that towards Andy Reid on social media too. So it's like we've all been there and everything. And luckily, Ernie Stewart's not there dictating the lineups anymore. Ernst is like, yeah, go ahead and pick your lineup. Just stay with this 4-4-2 formation, and it's worked out great and everything. And I just know this team's on the up and up, and just Ernst and Jim Curtin. I mean, what a great 1-2 combo I feel like those two are.
The thing is, ever since Ernst came around, there's been many games where I thought that we had the better manager. Like our manager made moves that really positively affected the outcome of the game for us. And before that, I never saw that. It was very predictable substitutions. It was like my wife thought I was a genius because I could always predict the substitutions. What she didn't realize was it was the same every single game. I mean, it was like clear. At this minute, here's who's coming in. At this minute, here's who this. It was like that's what we do every game. I really, honestly, a lot of times have no idea what they're going to do now, and I like that. Which means the other team doesn't either.
The one thing that is a given, though, is bringing El Sino around like the 62nd, 63rd. Yeah. Other than that, it's a toss-up and everything. I mean, there's plenty of times where I thought Jim Curtin would bring on so-and-so, and then he brings on the complete opposite player and everything. And, there's been so many times where we were down last season, and we found a way to fight back and win a game or at least get a draw. Like, how many times can the Union say they've done that in the past? Not hardly any.
We almost never did that before.
And I think
the other way. In fact, we had a hard time with 1-0 leads. We had a hard time being up a man. We'd lose. I mean, that kind of stuff happened all the time to us.
Yeah, I think nowadays their bench is just a lot deeper than it ever was. You know, back when you were bringing out Danny Cruz every 65th minute maybe or 60th minute, just like you said to your wife, it was probably him half the time. Now they got young guys in the system coming off the bench, and guys like Ilsinho coming off the bench, and bona fide starters. Even Wooten, who we haven't really seen a lot of yet, he hasn't gotten his way into the starting lineup, but he's that quality. They can't play three strikers in this setup, really.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I remember the Orlando game, not to go on a tangent, but I'm sure, again, this brings back a lot of good memories for you guys listening. The game against Orlando, Jim Curtin brought on Anthony Fontana and Matt Real got the game tying assist to Kasper Schebelka in the 91st minute and everything. It was Matt Real, out of all people, coming on, making an impact with Anthony Fontana playing good through balls and everything. And it's who would have predicted that? It's just, they have good players coming off the bench. And like you said, Rich, not many people can predict what Jim's going to do with the players on his bench that he could bring on at any given time.
Yeah. And, the results speak for themselves. That's what's so damn frustrating about this year, because I couldn't wait to see what was going to happen this year.
Yeah, and, we got a taste of it against LAFC.
Sergio Santos, full steam, Wooten with more time. I mean, it was good. Oh, yeah. It was.
And we got one of the best road games they've ever had, and one of the best highlights they've ever had. And then the league shuts down right after that.
I know. With the most attention we've ever gotten in the league, in the world, really.
And they're still showing that game on Fox. They were still
What a crazy game, too. Everybody's up at midnight on Twitter freaking out in their houses, waking up their neighbors. It was one of the great Union memories, and then nothing.
Oh, so
exactly.
Great.
We had the home opener coming up. It was supposed to be in the 50s for the home opener. When can we say we had a March game that was in the 50s for a home opener? Everything was going so well, and then it all just crashed and burned.
Think about how it's going to be emotional. The next home game is going to be really something. It's going to be like the first one all over again. I can't wait. I really can't wait.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it. But if you guys aren't following the podcast on social media, follow Free Kick Pod on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Find the website at the Free Kick Podcast. .com. I'm probably going to start writing articles with my friend Brad's help. So, there will be some content on there. And other than that, again, congratulations, Rich, and we'll see you in the third game, Ed. That said, my name is Todd, and this is the Free Kick Podcast.